Hello friends, welcome to this tutorial. Well, in this tutorial, we are going to learn how to render the real math expression in construct 3. You have seen like x plus 1, y plus 1 or y plus 2, many math games or many educational games, but no one has ever rendered the real math expressions, the real structure of the math in construct 3. So we are going to render the real math and we are going to use the KaTeX library. There are libraries like MathML, LaTeX. I am sure you have heard of these, right? These libraries works with JavaScript and HTML5. But there is a library called KaTeX, which is a kind of wrapper on the LaTeX and MathML, and that library renders a real math expression and also quite fast. So we are going to use that library as a JavaScript inside our construct 3 and render the real math expression. All right. So before moving on, let me show you what exactly let me show you the final result. Okay. So all right. So here you can see that this is the real expression, or you can say the real math we have rendered on the screen. Okay, so this is how you can render many other expressions as well. Like for example, if I change the expressions, which I created here, so let's say the expression 2, so like this. Okay, so this is the real math, and the construct 3 does not render on its own, so we need to use the KaTeX library. It's a JavaScript library, and we're going to integrate that JavaScript library in this project, and we're going to render this these like expressions, math expressions in our game. All right, so let's go. Okay, so let me start with completely new and fresh project. All right. Okay, so let's start with the new project, and you can call this, let me name this real math. Taking it a landscape. All right, let me change the size I'm just changing the size, you don't need to do that. All right, now the first thing we need an HTML element. See, we are going to render the math expression using the KaTeX library, and the KaTeX library requires a DOM element or the HTML element to render the expression. All right, thanks to the construct 3 that we have the HTML element. So right click on the object type and create a new object and call this HTML element and calling this a math. All right, now just put it somewhere here. You can change the color, you can change the font size. All right, you can do a lot of things with this. Now, so now we have the HTML element. Now we need to integrate the JavaScript library, the KaTeX library. So first thing is that we need a script. We need a KaTeX script, right? So let's go to the KaTeX, katex.org. You can go to this site, you can go to the documentation. From here at the top, version 0.16, I think it's the latest version of the KaTeX. Click on it, click on the release notes, and inside here there's a zip file. Click on it and download this zip file. Well, I have already downloaded it, but still. Okay, so this is the katex.zip. Inside this there is a folder called KaTeX. I'm going to extract this folder into somewhere in my drive. We just do it here. Okay, now inside the KaTeX folder you will have KaTeX.javascript file, .minified JavaScript file, and the CSS file and the fonts. We need everything inside our construct3 project. We need KaTeX.js, we need KaTeX.css, and we need fonts. All right, you can use any font you want, or you can leave, or you cannot, or you should not like add these fonts into the construct3. But I suggest that you add these fonts so that the expressions render properly, because they have used the size and everything according to these fonts. All right, so first thing, let's go back to the project, add, right click on the script, add JavaScript. This is our main script, and I'm going to call this KaTeX.js. Now go back to the KaTeX folder. Here, open this. I'm going to open this KaTeX.min.js from here. I'm opening this in Sublime Text, and Control A and copy the entire code of this file. Go back to the project, double click KaTeX.js, Control A, delete, and Control V. Okay, now we are going to copy and paste the entire KaTeX.js code. I'm using the minified code, so you can just copy and paste it here. Now the KaTeX.js, and make sure the purpose set to the main script. Now this file going to render the math expression, and I'm going to use the class, the KaTeX class, to render that. All right, so we need another script which going to import this file and get the class, which is a global class called KaTeX, and inside that there is a function called render to string, and we're going to call that function into our event. All right, so create a new JavaScript file, and I'm naming this import for events. Simple. I mean, you can name it anything you want. All right, now make sure the purpose set to import for events, because we need this because we are going to create a function here, and we need that function inside our action script, okay, inside our event sheet. All right, so first we're going to import. So we say import dot slash, I think, KaTeX.js. We need to import that first, and then we create the function, and you can put this any name. I'm going to say render math, okay, and I'm going to pass the string, because this is going to take the string as an argument. Now here the important thing, that we have the KaTeX, so we say var HTML. Now the KaTeX is a global handler which we are getting from the KaTeX.js, and KaTeX.render to, I think it's something like that, render to string. And this also requires a string. I think let's go to the KaTeX.org. Let's go back. Okay, so this is the function we need. Now let's copy and paste this. Render to string requires string. Okay, so let's copy and paste it here, and we need to return the HTML. Okay, we're going to return the HTML variable. Instead of this, I'm going to need a string. Okay, so I'll pass underscore string. We need one more thing here. Display mode and false, and I think the output string, that's you will get everything from the KaTeX.org. All right. Here I'm not putting anything from my own. All right. I'm putting everything which I get from the KaTeX.org. So you will get everything from the KaTeX.org. All right. So that's output is math. So this is the function we need just to render the map. This is everything we need from the KaTeX. Okay, this is do not save it right now. So this is everything you need now to render the expression here at this element. Let's go to the events sheet 1 and let's say on start of layout we now you cannot insert the expression directly to the element using the construct default actions. You cannot do that, so we need to add a script. We need to add a script inline JavaScript inside the action, and first we need to access our math element, which is an HTML element. So you can access it runtime dot objects dot what is the name of that? It's some math element, right? Dot get first instance. So now we have the math element. Now we say let's create an expression. Okay, we can say let's create a var expression. It's a string, it's a math string which we are going to take from the KaTeX.org. Right now I'm just putting it empty. Okay, so we say math element dot insert content, and this will, here we're going to call our function render math and going to pass the expression. Okay, if I run this, nothing going to work. That's nothing going to work. Okay, so what I'm going to do, let's go to the KaTeX, go to the supported table or the supported function. So let's go to the supported table. Well, you can get everything from the supported table and the supported function, and combination of these things you can create any equations you need. Okay, I'm trying to render the matrix. All right, let's render this matrix here. So just copy this entire thing, add it and paste it inside. Let's make this a string. Fix this first. Okay, now let's go and check. Let's start rendering. Let's go back to the event sheet. What is the name of our element? Oh, the name of the element is math, and we are fetching something else. Okay, so instead of math element, it's math. The name of our object is math. All right, let's go back to the layout and run it. Okay, the problem is, let's go back to the image sheet. Here you can see that we have the single slash, but in construct, if you want to render, then you need double slash. Okay, so wherever you see a single slash, make it double, like this. Here, as you can see that the equation already has two slashes here. So instead of 2, we need 4. Like I said, 1 slash means 2 slash. So here we have 2 slashes. Obviously, it's going to be 4, and this one is 1 more slash. Okay, so let's go to the layout and let's see. It's rendering the matrix, but why it is rendering the another one at the side? Okay, let's go to the back. Uh, let's change our font size. Just turn off so that we can see that clear. Okay. I think we need the KaTeX fonts and the CSS file. That's why it is rendering double. Alright, so first let's import fonts from the KaTeX dot KaTeX file. My bad. KaTeX file which we have downloaded. So let's go back to the KaTeX fonts and copy all these fonts, drag and drop here and import. Now the fonts are ready. Now we need a CSS file. So right click on the files, new, style sheet. And I'm going to name this KaTeX. Okay. Go back to the KaTeX files, go to the KaTeX folder, and here you will see the KaTeX.css. Open this and Control A and copy the entire code. Go back to your construct tree, double click on KaTeX.css and paste it here. Oh, sorry, yeah, paste it here. So we have the KaTeX.cs and we have all the fonts. Let's go back to the layout and let's render. Yeah, that's great. So now we have the equation. That's great. So this is how you can go to the katex.org and based on these strings, according to the strings, you can render or combine any math equations you wanted. All right. So you can have the fractions, like you can have this. So let's copy this. See how this works. I'm going to place this here, and like I said, convert single slashes to double. All right. Let's go. Yeah. Great. Okay. Now my equation is not centered because this is an HTML element, and to make it work properly with your games, you need to change the CSS style of this HTML element. You can change the CSS style. You can set CSS like that also, I guess. Yeah, that's CSS style. So you can change the border, you can change the font size, you can change the color of the element, you can make it center. And one way to do that is that you can say right click, new file, I say style sheet, I call this file.css, and you can create a class for my element. Let's say math element, let's say position absolute, say left 0, right 0. If you know how to work with the CSS or the HTML, you can easily done that, or you can get the tutorial or the class from the Google very easily. Let's say top 0, say bottoms 0, justify content center, yes, align item center, I guess, height, give it height, so align the center, align the content to the center, I think like that. And now we're going to use this class math element. Copy this, copy the name, simple math element, go to the layout and select the HTML element, and here in class paste it. The HTML element will automatically fetch this class and whatever the CSS inside it. Okay, and if you run this, nothing happens anyway. I think it should work. Huh? Go back to the CSS. Line elements, height. Okay, let's see in my previous code what exactly I've done that. The display is flags. Alright, let's copy this. Like I said, that this is a hidden trial of the CSS. I'm not a CSS coder, so I've just taken everything from the Google. Okay, because I don't know how to style this stuff. But yeah, this is intro now. That's great. So, so this is how you can render any math expressions you want. One more thing to note, as this is an HTML element. An HTML element is always on top. Okay, this is the by default functionality of the construct tree, that the DOM element will always be on top. Now, so if you want to use this element in your game, and if suppose in your game you have the game over panel or the level win panel or something like that, which comes on top of the HTML element, the only solution is that you first make the element invisible from the code and then make the panel or anything visible on top of it. Because if, let's say, example here, sprite, and if I insert the sprite, give it a color, green. Now here, if you put this sprite on top of it, still you will see the expressions, because the sprite is not hiding, because the DOM element is always on top of the layer. Okay, so the only way is that you simply, whenever you have to enable your game panel or the game main panel or any panel you want, which is overlapping the HTML element, then you have to make the HTML element set visible or invisible from the code. Alright, so this is one thing. Now, one more thing which I want to tell you guys, that okay, so let's move this. Now, when you export this game, so let me export this. When you export this game, either in HTML5, especially for the construct arcade I'm talking about, because if you see here in import event, we have the KaTeX global handler. It's a global class which came from the KaTeX.js. But when I export this project for the construct arcade, the KaTeX global handler not going to work. Okay, and you will get the error. So the best way to do is that, let me first export it for you. Okay, and so we have this. Let's extract this, copy, and let me extract this somewhere, my real math game. Okay, and copy your we built here. All right, so the only a very small thing which you have to do, that first you have to go to the files, the KaTeX files which we have downloaded from the katex.org, and copy this katex.js. From there, go back to the build which we have just extracted from the construct tree. Go to the script folder, and inside that, just copy this katex.js. In fact, you have this inside the project as well. All right, but I'm putting it here. You can give the reference to this project file as well. And now go to the open this index.html file, and before the main.js, copy this KaTeX.js. Add the KaTeX.js over here. If you don't do this, the construct arcade will not fetch the KaTeX global handler. It will give you a problem. So this is the only solution, and this is a small tweak. That's it. Now, if you're exporting for the like mobile, or if you're exporting for HTML5, then you don't need to do that. All right. Well, so my tutorial ended here. If you like my tutorial, please like and subscribe to the channel. And those who want the source code file, please comment, and I will share the source code file with you. Those who really need this game, like a full game, you can go to my Code Canyon portfolio, which is SG Games, and here I have a complete math game in a very affordable price. So you can download this complete math game source code from here. In this source code, I have around 20 to like 27, more than 27 or something like that, equations which I have completed in this. So inside this you will get all kind of mathematical equations which I have taken from or combined with other expressions from the KaTeX.org. Alright, so thank you very much and happy game development.